Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. That is Ian Boyd. Thank you for watching as I get my microphone situated. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Of course, go to that first link in our description. Sign up for InsideTexas.com. You can join for just $1. Get access to the best Texas Longhorns community, the best Texas Longhorns intel, everything you might want leading up to the Red River Shootout. And go ahead. Take a picture of that QR code right there. That'll get you headed to Inside Texas right away. We also got to let y'all know tomorrow at 11, starting at 11, we'll be on at 12. We'll be at the Red River Reunion presented by the Bear Bryant Award. Going to be great to see the Oklahoma Breakdown, Gabe Eichard, Teddy Lehman, two guys who do a great job covering the Sooners. Ian, you and I will be there along with Eric at 12. Talk a little bit about what the American Heart Association does, previewing the game. Then at 1 p.m., Mac Brown, Barry Switzer, two guys who've been honored by the Bear Bryant Awards, will be talking there at Texas Live. That's in Arlington, right in the middle of old Globe Life, new Globe Life. I guess it's Choctaw now, right by all the different Rangers stadiums. Great place. We'll be on the main stage, kind of in the middle of everything. Looking forward to seeing y'all there. We'll be able to socialize a little bit after, so should be a whole lot of fun. Can't wait to see everybody there and be on the big stage. Bright lights, Ian. Should be a lot of fun getting out into Arlington. So first things first, was anybody surprised to see John Mateer listed as questionable?
So on that, to be questionable, that means that you have, let me fix this mic real quick. Okay. Be questionable, that means that you are a participant in some way in practice, right?
I mean, that's the NFL standard, and they hope that that's what applies to college. But the NFL, it's like there are, with how the media is able to cover practice in the NFL, you can see practice participation. So it's a little bit more subjective. They're relying on good faith efforts from the league's coaches.
It sounds to me like Mateer is trying to throw and see how his hand responds from what Venables has said and what's been implied by their statements. It sounds like he's trying to throw and seeing how it's going. I still have mega doubts.
Justin, where do you stand on the whole Mateer thing?
Yeah, y'all are really discounting the fact that this kid can play left-handed. Like I think y'all are overlooking that so much. Like I expect Mateer to go out left-handed. Like that gives them a better shot than Mikey Hawkins right-handed. And I think that's probably what's going to wind up happening. Honestly, if you're not on out, I think it's all crap. If you're not listed under out, I think it's all disputable crap. And it's fun. It's good for us to kind of go back and forth and talk about. But you think the coaches are going to put something serious on these things? Lane Kiffin treats this like the Dairy Queen menu, where you can do the crayons and you can color into this thing. Like the coaches are honest to a fault at some point, and in some ways they're not. So unless you're out, the rest of it's crap. Mateer's going to play. He's going to play left-handed, and it's going to be fun.
We just posted a Q&A. I exchanged some questions with George Stoya over at Sooner Scoop. Some of my answers to his questions are on the Sooner Scoop board. His are on Inside Texas, so go check that out. Yeah, just kind of what you're saying. You know, if they're going to go through all this effort, they're going to try. That's the most important thing. I don't think it's just a full obfuscation. It was funny to see, like, oh, wait, they can practice inside? Oh, wait, they have AC in their indoor facility now?
Listen, Eddie Radosevich, this is the best work he's done in years, and he does great work on a daily basis. If you guys don't check him out at Sooner Scoop, I can't help you. Eddie is a champion. He is a king, and he is maximizing this moment, and I enjoy his stuff every single day.
Looking around, though, Ian, Keontez Lewis, that's the receiver who ran into the wall, unfortunately, and glad that he's
guided,
because that was a scary,
guided into the wall. guided into the wall by one Michael Hawkins.
Scary moment, but that's if he's limited, he is one of their offensive playmakers. That's even a big one. And then kind of looking at the rest of the O-line, those are players that they would like to have out there and not on this injury report.
So Lewis also got destroyed on a hospital ball. They're against what was it? Auburn was the last game before Kent State, and then the bye week. Yeah, he got murdered and taken out of the game against Auburn after a shot to the head. Yeah, and then comes back 2 weeks later and gets guided with precision into the wall, face first, and gets stretchered out. That is 2 head injuries, let's say, in 3 weeks. It'd be shocking if he played in this game. And he's also probably their only true outside receiver.
He's their second highest, according to PFF, he's the second highest graded receiver they have.
Everybody else that plays inside, everybody else that plays receiver for them is tiny. So they're all like inside guys primarily. Like they'll put them outside because they have to, but they're all really outside guys. But they do get Giovanni Gibson back, who is expected to be their best receiver this year. And he played a little against Kent State. I don't know what his relative, I don't know like how on form he is right now, coming off of, I think he broke his leg, right? But they may come out on balance, kind of even there.
I don't see how Jake Taylor still has eligibility. He was playing catcher for the Cleveland Indians in the early 90s.
I'm glad. I was waiting. I was wondering how long we would get before the major.
I remember
league.
Sexton's recruitment. Texas was in that one for a while, and then they sort of just backed off.
Yeah.
McIntyre just kind of he's played a little bit, but not much. But Paul kind of posted yesterday. This is shows how limited their depth is on that offensive line, and it's been good-ish, but not. It's not been mauling. They haven't done anything against power conference opponents. That's the main takeaway.
They are only good in comparison to Texas against Florida or UTEP. If that's the comparison and that's the bar, then Oklahoma's offensive line is good. By a national standard, they are total garbage. One of the worst offensive lines in the SEC.
Looking at the Texas aspect of it, pretty clean injury report. I'm surprised. Last year when Baxter was out the whole year, they would have him listed. So I'm surprised they haven't put guys like Kojo on there or anything else, but maybe they don't have to. Baxter stinks to see. No Trey Wisner on this injury report. And then seeing Muhammad and Livingston under probable, Justin, good news for Texas. They need those guys.
No, it does. At this stage, I don't expect any contribution out of Baxter. Like he's probably going to play at some point this year more, but I don't know what you're going to get production wise out of him. And so it kind of does clear it up a little bit. I think Wisner's been he's been practicing this week. I think he had maybe a re-injury to his hamstring. I'm not really certain, but I know that they're kind of treating him with kid gloves. But Malik Muhammad is the most important. That's the one. Well, like Parker's important too, but we expect Parker to play. Parker's going to play. Manny's trying to play. Let me tell you something. He is desperately trying to play. He does not want to miss another week. This week of practice is huge for him and for Texas because they would love to get that guy back. Does he make a difference against Florida? I think he does. I think Texas still got beat. I think they still got out physical. But at the same time, Malik Muhammad makes a difference on Dallas Wilson. It just does. He would make a difference on Saturday. And so that's the one we're watching. I still think that's going to be close to a game time decision, but I like that he's under probable. I like what I'm hearing from practice notes, and I think that one's the one to watch.
Got a lot of good practice notes over on Inside Texas. Go make sure you check that out. We'll talk about that a little bit, some of the offensive line notes, but we'll have a lot more on that on this channel probably tomorrow on Inside the Program. We'll keep going in just a second, but I do like this question for Don Gregory. Where does this week's game rank in terms of most important games for Sark in his career at Texas? Let's eliminate postseason. just let's keep it to regular season. Ooh, man, this one, I mean, I'm trying to think of one that comes close. Like, oddly enough, maybe that Kansas State game in 2023.
No.
Well, that one was important, but that's the only one I can think of where the implications were pretty high, but that wasn't a rivalry game. This is a rivalry game. This means, it's the outcome is the difference between 3-2 and 2-3 against Oklahoma. And a lot of chirps you hear from north of the Red River about quarterback situations will probably start coming from south of the Red River, if no matter what happens, if Oklahoma gets more points on Saturday. Like, this one's massive, and it also kind of determines whether Texas is going to be it does determine whether Texas is going to be a playoff contender going forward in name only, or if you can go ahead and start thinking about the Cheez-It Bowl. So this one's massive. This may be number one. Does any other one regular season game come close?
It's hard for me to think of another one where there were a bunch of games that were really meaningful for the upside if they won, but they didn't have the same downside in a loss. This one has maybe not as much upside in a win as some other games he's played in, but certainly the most downside. So that makes it, I don't know exactly how to, compare that.
I'll give it number one. I mean, I think
it's close. It's close. And here's the thing too. I think it's equally as close for Oklahoma. Like, if Venables can't knock a Texas team that's seemingly maybe down, like, with them being number 6 with the number 1 defense in the country, what does that tell you about them? Like, I think it goes both ways.
They have that built-in excuse of either we couldn't quite get Mateer ready to play, or Mateer played, but he just was gritting it out and he just couldn't quite,
Yeah, but I don't think fans are that.
They'll be mad, but they
built up enough collateral with that.
Yeah.
Stoops could get away with that. Riley could get away with that. I don't think Venables has that much charm. Not right now.
I think this is the right number 2, the A&M game last year, because it was for a spot in the SEC title, and who knows if Texas even makes the playoff if they lose that game. But I think this one may top it just because of where the Oklahoma game sits in everybody's mind. And then I guess this one from Texas Jasper real quick. Are we concerned that much about Mateer? We have a great defense and certainly can limit their offense no matter who shows up. Are we concerned about Lagway? We have a great defense and can certainly limit their offense no matter who shows up. You are what your most recent results say, and you could probably argue that John Mateer or you can argue and be successful with it, and argue that Mateer has been a lot better than Lagway this year. So, yeah, I mean, his presence makes a massive difference. Running with him is different than running with Mike Hawkins, and then at the same time, he can probably hit. He's a little bit more adept as a passer. We'll figure out what's going on with his hand, but he's a better passer than Hawkins this year. Way better. So, yeah, that him playing literally, if it gets to game time and he's either listed as a game time decision, probably will be, or if he jumps to out on the injury report, that line is going to move multiple points really quick. I don't know how many, but probably two.
That's why I told y'all to hammer that Texas -3, guys. You should have hammered that when you had it.
He's definitely dangerous. I don't think Texas is scared of him on defense, but he could be the difference between winning 16-9 versus losing 17-16,
Yeah.
He's less likely to I think he's less likely to give you the ball than Hawkins. I wonder how it'll look if he gets hit while he's holding the ball. If fumbles will be a risk. And he can be a little
get the ball out so fast.
He can be risky with interceptions, but Hawkins is a disaster. In both of those regards. So, yeah, it's another nuanced deal where I don't think anyone at Texas is really that afraid of Mateer. but you're definitely afraid of any margin that Oklahoma can find in what looks like a close match.
Make sure I get the right.
What you
thing.
don't want is Oklahoma getting up 10-0. That's the worst case scenario.
True.
That's what we saw.
Then you're going to take the air out of the ball.
Well, no,
And
they
Texas
can't.
won't be able to.
They can't take the air out of the ball.
Shoot. Y'all must have missed last Saturday's game.
Have you if you're an Oklahoma running back going against a power 4 defense, you're averaging under 3 yards a carry right now.
That's twice as much as Trey Wisner averages.
Yeah, but the point is they can't really sit on a 10-zip lead.
If I'm playing Texas and I go up 10, it's over.
Wow.
No.
We'll keep going in just a second.
What have it shown you?
Justin, if Florida had done that, instead of hitting that last bomb to Wilson, they would have lost that game.
I love your optimism, brother. Always.
We'll keep going in just a second. Before we do, a word from Academy.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
All right. Big focus this week has been on left guard. As you can tell, you can see, he's in front of him. It took me a second to be able to tell. Nick Brooks doing some blocking for James Simon there against Sam Houston State. We have a lot of great insider notes over on Inside Texas. Justin, you and Eric combined for those. A lot of great notes from you on the offense. And the assumption at this point is, well, you may see some more rotation, but Justin, probably going to be a Nick Brooks game, correct?
Yeah, that's what they're going to hang their hat on. Look, from a size, strength, and intensity standpoint, Nick Brooks actually checks the boxes. There's a lot of guys on this roster on the offensive line that need more development. They need more experience, and they need a little bit of fire in their behind. Nick Brooks actually gives you the fire in your behind. I think that's one reason they're staking their claim with him. Would I have liked to seen him get some reps in non-conference play? 100%. That seemed like kind of common sense to me. But here we are into week 5, week 6. And that's kind of the issue we're dealing with. Nick Brooks is a big, strong kid. He's gonna mess up. He's gonna miss some stuff, but you're gonna get an effort. Even when he messes up, guys are having to go around this big joker. He's like the earth. It takes a while. He's big for a reason, and I think that's what's going to help Texas a lot. If he could just hold down his spot, really, if he can hold down his spot and stay assignment sound and slide protection, I think he's going to be just fine. I really do. But I do think they got to get that ball out quick, and I think they need to spread it somewhat so you got some running lanes for these tailbacks.
Ian, PFF, for whatever you want to take it as, was really down on Brooks. But what did you see when he was on the field against Florida?
PFF's grades don't really actually make that much sense.
No,
honestly.
He
was
snap count.
He was bad, but sometimes they'll give a guy like even your what's that club, the Spike Club?
Oh yeah,
the whole concept of the Spike Club is kind of ridiculous.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, it's awesome. It's a really good little bar, but the idea that spiking the ball would be a more efficient thing than trying to throw it down the field is obviously, like, on its face is silly, right?
Right.
I don't think they quite know how to calibrate their grades, because like people were throwing at me his grade as being like a 3 or something, and it's like if 3 out of 100, 3 out of what? What does that mean? You know, he's not going to be great probably, but like Justin said, he gives them a chance to execute a game plan where you are just getting the ball out quick a lot and trying to make their defensive line at least work and give Arch a chance to escape when pressure comes. There's a huge difference between, if you guys watch our deep dive on Tuesday, there's a huge difference between a play where the left guard gets beat, but Arch has time to get out and then hit the post to Wingo for a touchdown, and then a play where multiple guys get beat and Arch escapes one guy, then just goes down against the next. You want to get as many instances where Arch at least has a chance as you can. And it makes sense to me that Brooks is the guy for that.
So where did you go with first? And you talk mostly, it looks like, about protections on the first part, and this is a pass play, correct? Even though it kind of looks like run blocking, or is this what are we looking at?
Yeah, it's tricky because obviously they're not going to try to get downfield to reach these guys, but this is how the half slide that they use a lot. This is how it works, which is that the center goes to help on the right side, and then on the left side it's man. So I got the nose, you have the defensive end. Maybe we have rules for trading if they move around, but it's basically man-to-man. That backside linebacker is either getting blocked by the running back or the quarterback is keeping his eye on him and he throws it if he blitzes on a hot route. And on the right side, you're like zoning up. This is one of Texas's favorite ways to protect. It makes sense in that you have Trevor Gooseby man-to-man. You kind of want to get something out of having Trevor Gooseby. So it's nice to have a scheme where you ask anything of him remotely hard so that you can try to get help somewhere else. The trick is that the left guard also gets isolated. And that's why people have targeted Texas's left guard and why like they've struggled so bad and rotated so many guys in there is just trying to find somebody that can hold up to that so that they can use this protection.
So when you're looking at this formation, why wouldn't you flip it? Why wouldn't you have the center help the left guard, especially with the tight end on the bottom?
Because then DJ Campbell and Brandon Baker are man-to-man instead of Trevor Gooseby.
It's more risky.
Gotcha.
On the right side.
It's so.
And then just delay the blitz from that W. Well, that's what the R is for. And you either throw it to him or he picks him up. And
hey, a delayed blitz, that might give Arch 2 seconds to throw. That's better than what they got against Florida.
Yeah. Texas will take that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Like, and this is something I think I highlighted on the UTEP game where you can scheme things up on defense. Like, yes, you do want Trevor Gooseby to be able to do the hard things. And I get what you're talking about with DJ Campbell, but like this almost seems like a trade that Oklahoma would take. Like, oh, true freshman defense or true freshman offensive lineman against David Stone or Jaden Jackson or something like that. Like, I'm curious why you might invite this. And I think is that what you explained in the article?
Well, I mean, it's just the tallest midget.
Yeah. It's just the situation they're in.
I think Brooks is probably the second most talented pass protector on the offensive line, second or third behind Baker and obviously behind Gooseby. And so it's like, is he ready? Probably not. But you're so bad you can't afford to sit talent on the bench right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Also, as Oklahoma fans probably recall, in 2023, that game flipped because they had Everett, the center, playing left guard early in the game. The Sooners did, and he's like 6'2", 290 at the time or something. And Tavondre Sweat was just throwing him out of the way, and Oklahoma couldn't get anything going against it. And so they eventually, after like a couple drives, they pulled him because they're like all of Texas. They had Sweat, they had Murphy, they had Collins, and Oklahoma's like, he has no chance. And so they put in freshman Caden Green. And freshman Caden Green was flawed for sure, but he gave them a freaking chance because he didn't just get immediately bowled over or blown by. And that was a huge part of Oklahoma winning that game. I think that's what Texas, that'd be like and I'm sure Caden Green's PFF grade in that game was probably not that great. But that's what Texas is looking for with Brooks. Will it work? I don't know.
Good question from JL. How are we in this situation in the first place? The incompetence of Sark and Flood in talent acquisition is deplorable. They bet there's a lot of things going on. They bet on their own developmental ability. They thought they could get this line up to speed. And you know what? When you're a coach, you're confident in what you can do. But they were wrong. I mean, we have to be able to say that they were wrong in being able to get this line ready for 2025 play. It's a line that I think if they march it out next year, probably will do fine. And I know you have to replace DJ Campbell, but it's not next year. It's this year, and they're going up against these guys now. They banked on their own developmental ability. They banked on that and not needing to purchase a player in the portal, which they had opportunities to do. And they swung and missed big time. And that's what we're dealing with right now.
That Joe, great summary. They put a lot of resources in the defensive line in the last 2 years. I think we're going to see that flip this offseason. The defense, here's the problem. On the offensive front, there's no depth behind these guys either. Like it falls off a cliff very quickly. And that's why there's so much angst in Austin, because there's not like a quick fix. Whereas on the defensive line front, when you lose some of those transfer portal guys, do you know how much depth, really talented depth, is waiting in the wings to get their chomping at the bit to play? Your Josiah Sharmas, your Myron Charles, your Justice Terrys. It's a completely different game now from what it was for 2 years ago. So I think that mentality is going to flip. I think they're going to go heavy on the O-line. They're going to lean more on their D-line development in the next cycle, next season, I think. But the O-line, man, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring 4 guys in this offseason.
Ian, you make this point here. One of Texas' favorite protections on play actions is to pull a guard. You said Brooks did pretty well on that front.
Yeah, he moves well.
For his size, he moves really well.
This is like damning with faint praise, but
yeah,
he got beat a number of times, right? And he would chase and like keep his feet and try to at least like get a hand up or make the guy that whipped him take a longer path to get to Arch.
Right.
It's not great. This is not, but that's different than like Connor Stroh would like lunge and miss and be on the ground. And then not only is he not making the guy work at all, but now he's an enormous obstacle tripwire for Arch if he's trying to get away, right?
Yeah.
He moves really well. He can pull. He's obviously not super sharp yet in pulling and run blocking. He can move and he can do it, but he's not like super adept at it yet. And he can go out there and like take a guy upfield. So the name of the game in this game is you're not going to beat Oklahoma running the ball unless it's with Arch. You have to just play the best possible pass protection offensive line you can, and then hope for the best.
And there have been some questions about, trying to use more spread passing concepts. I've kind of joked around, and it's like, go get Hal Mummy for a quick minute just to consult. You can probably pay him more than, I think it's he's at like Center College or Centenary College or something like that.
He's sitting there. He's down the road in Shreveport.
Yeah. Like that man's still at it. Now I wonder if you could be like, all right, let's try a couple of these things this year because you're going to need it. But Ian, that's kind of the name of the game probably, is rely a little bit more on some spread passing and see if you can get some more with Arch out of his legs.
Yep. Gundy was my counter suggestion. See if Gundy wants to come in and wear
I'm
in
pro Gundy.
How to beat Oklahoma, how to get the ball out fast. But it's hard.
He got the most out of the least.
It's hard to rethink your whole offense in a week. So
yeah,
Oklahoma last year tried to rethink their offense in the bye week, and then they came out against Texas and ran like all this option stuff with Hawkins, and it was not great. Like they didn't know the basic fundamentals and rules, and they just would botch play after play. So
Nick Davis has something that's not Sark's MO. Well, how's his MO been going? That's the main thing. That you just have to, if it's not working, you want to. I found the old Tom Herman, Malcolm Roach gif. It's like, well, ramming our head against the wall isn't working, but what if we ram our head against the wall harder? And sometimes coaches do that, but the good ones realize they got to make a switch. Tell us about Neto. What's going on there? Eric had a big write-up looking at some of the film from Neto earlier this year. Justin, what can you kind of say, or what can you point to that we wrote about on Inside Texas?
Yeah, so Eric did a great job of that yesterday, kind of outlining kind of Neto's development. Understandably, there's still some missed assignments. There's a lot of emotion as well. Sometimes it's hard for players to keep that emotion in check, and when you make a mistake, you compound it with another mistake and then another mistake. And some of the best athletes are the ones that can shake off that bad mistake and then just fire back for the next play and get ready to go. That's where Neto is having an issue. When he does mess up, he compounds it with another one and then another one. And listen, that's a very common thing amongst athletes. And so if we're not seeing more of Umeozulu, that's your reason.
We'll keep going, looking at some other things the Texas offense can do before we get to that. A little word from Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
We'll get to this real quick. Oh, how many? Let's get this pet promo from Homer. I'll try to. We'll see if we can get a little shipment of. I don't know. It may take some C4 up there to get him going. Chris Bennett, why didn't Gibson play Saturday? When you need pass protection, you do not look for number 9. That's the long and short of it right now. He is a liability in that part, and he's not holding on to the football. And it would have been great for him to have played in his hometown. But if you're surrendering the football or you're surrendering sacks, you're not helping winning. And, yeah, there may be some upside with him plowing his way through a linebacker and getting a first down. But the downside is then you lose the football in a few plays. And that's at this point, you got to protect possession a little bit more. You have to figure out how to get him to not fumble the football. Some of that's on him, some of that's on the coaches. But like this team cannot afford to lose possession and put even more pressure on the defense. So it's just the way it goes.
You have to play to your strengths.
Yeah.
And Gibson doesn't allow them to play to their strengths. You can't be like, well, how do we make the goal and for Texas is not how do we make the run game as good as it can be? Because your choices that you'll make if you say, how do we make the run game as good as we can be, will sabotage what you actually do well. That's where we are. So you can't just play like who's theoretically the best runner if he holds the ball well and we don't worry about pass protection. It's like, well, you just lost your ability to hit Wingo or Livingston and score. So
the irony of it all is the picture you chose is Robert Spears Jennings taking the ball from Trey Wisner's hand last year.
So, it was a good punch.
It was a good play. And that had me looking up Silas Bolden running down the field. And that's always a play that I'm going to really enjoy.
Yeah, Texas is going to need some stuff like that on Saturday.
Exactly. Ian, you write a little bit about how Brent Venables, the defensive approach they may play, that 3 safety defense we've all come to know and love, deployed a little bit differently, maybe with some 4-down line looks. So you've got, 4 linemen, 2 linebackers. One of those linemen is their hybrid-ish player they call a cheetah. They do a lot of different things with him. How weird is it to see a former Oklahoma State guy, though, wearing crimson and cream?
It's lame is what it is. It's lame. Honestly, though, he wasn't like that great at Oklahoma State. So it seems like Oklahoma's getting a lot more out of him, and he might be a big factor on Saturday, but it's weird and I don't know.
So Venables runs the flyover. It looks a lot better than it did in 2022, to say the very least. Except there's one deficiency. What is that deficiency that they've had so far?
They are not good at corner. I think they would be a little iffy at corner, even if Eli Bowen had been playing. I don't believe he's played yet this season, right?
Oakland and Auburn went straight at Cortland Guillory, like straight at him. Of course, I mean, he was covering Cam Coleman, but still.
Yeah. They went at a couple of guys. Nobody in the Oklahoma cornerback room is really that good, to be honest. They do have like 5 safeties that are like 210 to 220 pounds and will run and hit. It looks so much like one of those late aughts Oklahoma defenses, honestly. It's barely different. When they would have like Lindy Holmes and Nick Harris and Roy Williams and then like fast linebackers too, like that guy that was just their GM before they pushed him out. Rufus Alexander.
Clayton Ingram.
Murray. Lofton.
Curtis
Lofton. Their defense looks Travis Lewis. Their defense looks like that again. It looks exactly.
Venables
like
was the DC then too, right?
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
It's not broke. Don't fix it.
This is a good one from Sugar Daddy. Given the historical crazy of this game, it'd surprise me if it ended up being. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended up being a wild shootout.
I would be surprised.
Yeah, it would be very surprising. I feel like that's what the over under is like 42.5. So this is another first to 20 game. This is another first to 20 game. It feels like, but obviously we'll talk about the defensive backs, but that defensive line. Good news for Texas. The Oklahoma defensive line is really good, Justin.
They are. If you didn't see it on the tape, I saw it yesterday on the PFF grades overall for this season. And again, PFF's a little iffy, but it gives you an idea, snap counts, things of that sort. These guys are deep. These guys are strong. These guys are good. And we recognize some of these names. Texas was in the recruitment for Jaden Jackson towards the end. They were in the recruitment for Demonic Williams. We saw how that played out. And so that's the thing that Oklahoma's hanging their hat on this year. That defensive front, it's the best they've had since Venables has been in Norman. And I think that's why there's also some pressure on that side of the ball. I mean, you guys made a good point. They can make the Mateer excuse if they lose, but I think the fans want more. I think the fans expect for Venables to kick Texas when they're down. And right now, they're down, at least from a mental standpoint. And so, this defensive front is stacked. David Stone was a 5-star, and it took him a little bit for the light to turn on. Once it turned on, he hadn't turned it back off.
Didn't he have a flirtation with the portal, or is that somebody else?
No, remember, I think he was going into I think he announced. I think it was
something like that.
It was reported that he was going into the portal. And then like 48 hours later or 72 hours later, something happened, maybe a renegotiating of a contract, something happened, and he came back into Norman. That was the story. I don't think he ever went into it.
Right.
I think there was a report that he was going to, and then a few days later, Oklahoma straightened everything out.
All the same, fantastic talent. Ian, there's a certain name missing from this paragraph, though. Unless you mention him a little bit down the way.
Well, I only mentioned the tackles.
Gotcha.
Which I guess was an oversight. Both of their defensive ends are awesome. So is R. Mason Thomas who I'm missing?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. R. Mason Thomas is obviously very good. He has like 3 sacks or something this year. He's great. That's obvious. Taylor Wine, the other guy, is also very, very good. And when he's like their Ethan Burke. He moves around. He can get inside. He can win outside. High motor. He's like their, if we want to go back to the aughts, R. Mason Thomas is Jeremy Beal. And Taylor Wine is Austin English.
All we're missing is Adam Ulatowski to trick him with a snap count.
Yeah.
Or Chris Ogbenaya to tap his feet in motion. That's a deep cut. You go through the the secondary and the linebackers, they've been obviously good, solid. The defensive line is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but Kendall Daniels, Kip Lewis, Justin's good friend from Carthage.
He gets better every year, man. He's playing at a high level.
Oh, there's Robert Spears Jennings. You just had him unbolted.
Yeah,
the Bowen brothers.
He had been referenced above, so he's already
Oh, there we go.
tagged in there.
So this is a defensive backfield who's pretty quality at safety, but here's the catch, and this applies at corner as well. They're the big guys. They're the thumpers. It's they're all box safeties for a cover 3 defense, and none of them are great coverage players.
Yeah, they don't. If you catch any of them trying to run with like DeAndre Moore or Wingo or Livingston man to man down the field, you have something good.
I remember Kendall Daniels' recruitment. That kid got big. Now, he was always going to kind of project to be a bigger DB, but man, I didn't realize he got that big.
I don't know if that's his listing. Oh
man, he wasn't. That is really bigger than what he was recruiting. And I know they get developed and they grow and spurts and all that stuff. I just don't ever remember projecting Kendall Daniels to get 6'5", 240. That kid was like 6'2", 200 pounds.
I wonder if he's actually that heavy right now.
You would think that's a detriment in the back end to be that big. That's a linebacker. That's a big linebacker.
It's an edge.
And maybe a nickel, their star, that's why it helps them there. But I don't remember him being that big.
They'll drop him like back too. Like he'll
I know.
It's wild. He
has coverage ability, but I'm wondering, you get that big, you lose a little bit of that quickness.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe he's really more like 220 now.
That would be ideal for them, in my opinion.
Ian, you used this picture earlier just to kind of show what a conventional Sark look versus a conventional defense from Venables looks like. And it's going to be, as we had a source tell us earlier this year from a team Texas played, that everybody's just going to stay in 2 or 3 deep shells. And this is what Texas is going to see a lot of this upcoming Saturday.
Yep. I assume so. And if I were Venables, I would play 4 down instead of 3 down flyover, and I would just replace the Mike linebacker with Kendall Daniels. Play Kendall Daniels as the Mike linebacker, and then get Powers and Bowen on the field at nickel and safety with RSJ. So 6 defensive backs, but most of them are as big as Leonga Lafau.
Should be interesting, but that does set up how to attack it. And you use a little bit of, is this some Marcel Reed action to kind of show what they're looking at? What are we looking at here on this play? And I'll see if I can get it popped up on a better look.
So Texas has killed Oklahoma for 3 years in a row with the play that we call Ezekiel's wheel, where they run a zone read, and then they have post or a glance route outside, and then a tight end or a slot release on a wheel route. And then they bring another tight end across the formation to run in the flat. And so if they try to defend the run, then you're flooding the backside with 3 routes in quick succession. And Oklahoma has never really known what to do with it. Last year, their solution was to just cover all the routes. Yeah. And then Texas just ran the ball. That's how Wisner ran for like 140 yards on just 12 carries or whatever it was. Because with everybody covering, they weren't good enough to stop just zone. And so Texas was just running zone down their throats. Can Texas do that this year with these running backs and this offensive line? I don't know if they are still up for that. But A&M has this wrinkle where they would fake the handoff to the running back, have all the receivers run those backside routes, but then the running back would turn into a lead blocker for Marcel Reed. And so it was like, and they ran the actual RPO, but then they mixed in this play. And it's just brutal because everybody goes to chase the routes. And then all of a sudden it's basically quarterback power into the vacated space.
Even when A&M plays their self, they lose.
And this is
losing in that game. A&M is losing in the spring game.
And this is a pretty common, if I can get it paused, that's a pretty common look from Sark. They've even had some wrinkles with some personnel. Like they can go into like a 2 wide receiver set here at the bottom of the screen and motion this guy or something along those lines. Cause the play that Parker Livingston got open on, it's that classic tight end leak play. They just had a wide receiver.
I call that Joe special.
They just had a wide receiver running it. So you may see them decide to take a little bit of a different crack at it. But this is right here, you see number 10, and I guess that's either black or maroon. You may see number 16 in orange doing the same thing on Saturday.
I don't know if Texas has this in the playbook, but it shouldn't be that hard. So if it's not too late, Sark, see if you can add this in.
I'm gonna send it to him as soon as we get done.
This is what it looks like on the chalkboard. What exactly is being read?
Nothing.
So most Sark RPOs kind of go deep to short. So what's the read here?
The read on the actual play is first that J, you leave him unblocked, and you would check to see if he steps inside to defend the run or if he goes out wide to cover. And if he steps inside to go to the run, then the most recent versions, Texas would read the glance route and then the flat route. The glance to the Z, which would maybe be a little shallower, and then the flat route to the Y. They used to read the wheel route by the H. But this play right here, you don't read nothing. You pretend like you're running all that, but really you're just running quarterback power downhill after they try to cover everything.
Anything
That's what
else?
makes it. Don't try to get cute. Just see if you can find ways to run the ball against Oklahoma.
We're on a little bit of a time crunch. Anything from the rest of the article, or is the summation the main point of it right here?
Yeah, they got to spread Oklahoma out and just let Arch play hero ball, and that's it. That's the only.
That's it. If Texas is going to walk out of the fair with a W on Saturday, Arch is going to be wearing a cape.
Oh man!
Or Hawkins is.
Or who?
Gifted Texas's defense 13 points.
We'll see. Have they had a defensive touchdown this year?
Texas?
Yeah.
No. They barely created turnovers.
Hey, you can win this game with field goals.
Mason Shipley, you're up, man.
If you take them.
This is the week to take them, Sark.
Yes, get your points. Don't be arrogant. If we had one thing we could ask Sark face to face, Steve Areno, don't be arrogant.
I do like this from Woodcrest. If Arch hits 5 deep balls, it's the game you most likely win. You hit 5 deep balls, you're winning almost every game.
Yeah. Tell the weekend it'll be a great weekend if they hit 5 big plays in that game. They really need like 3, but I'll take 5. Less is more.
Let's run through the SEC real quick. Chose this picture for good reason. I think this is 22. So always fun. Some good games this week. I don't know why this got the 11 a.m. treatment, but it did. And this is a good way to prove if Missouri is just a schedule merchant or if they're the real deal this week. Anything on this one?
I think Missouri's a paper tiger.
Well,
I really do. I don't know. I watched them twice. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't know what their identity is.
It's mostly Ahmad Hardy.
Yeah.
I think Alabama has this, but this is exactly the kind of game that DeBoer struggled with a year ago. But it seems like Ty Simpson is picking up so much steam that
he has.
Who would have thought that Ty Simpson might be good this year?
Well, who would have thought a highly rated quarterback needed a little bit of development and time and experience? I don't know where they got that from.
It was me. I'm the one that thought that.
I saw something that said, like, You know who's really happy Ty Simpson is doing well? Keelan Russell, because it's not like play Keelan or anything like that. That guy gets to develop and get handed the keys next year, maybe next year. Well,
if the board turns him into Michael Penix, we're all going to be in trouble.
yeah, no
Don't
doubt.
they have that other guy too, Mac? What's the word on Mac?
Austin Mack. Well,
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
a backup of a backup.
that'll be I guess that'll be a competition because that's who they brought with them from Washington.
It'll be Keelan.
Wazoo at Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss. Do they cover 32.5?
Yes. Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
Man, he's played really well. Like they haven't skipped a beat losing their quarterback. So that's a funny situation in Oxford. I like that.
I think it's one of those. They may cover.
That's a
this
little
by
too
half.
high for me. That's a little too high for me.
Wazoo is bad. They can't defend an offense like Ole Miss's. That's for sure. Texas at Oklahoma. It's still. I saw some books say the line had flipped. By last check on BetMGM, it had not flipped at all yet. This line is going to be volatile all the way until kickoff. But I think if Mateer plays, you'll see some. I wouldn't be surprised to see some late money jump on the Sooners and maybe flip this a little bit different.
Wait until you see the availability report that Inside Texas posts tonight. I think that'll tell you a little bit more. So be sure and check in. Just refresh.
Arkansas at Tennessee.
This is going to be ugly.
I also think it's going to be ugly. I don't think there's a dead cat bounce for a Bobby Petrino program.
No.
Or motorcycle
hog for that matter. A feral hog, probably.
Although they did, well, granted, it was Nico, but they did beat Tennessee last year. I was at home. I don't see that happening again.
They don't have the receivers they had last year either.
12.5 is a tiny number.
I would take that. I would take Tennessee in those points. That to me, because Tennessee, what are they? I'm trying to think. What they're not coming off. Was this the Georgia game 2 weeks ago that they came off?
2 weeks ago. I think I don't know what they did last week.
I don't either. I'm trying to remember when they were coming off. I didn't know if it was the Georgia game, but I think that was 2 weeks ago. Look, Tennessee right now is at a point where I think they beat the teams they need to beat. I think that's kind of how Heupel has these guys, and Aguilar has been a godsend. The receivers, Chris Brazzell, the transfer from Tulane, Mike Matthews, that's a 5-star receiver that nobody talks about. That dude was a dog in high school. He is going to be a stud in Knoxville.
I'm going to set up a pretty fun third Saturday in October next week. Florida at Texas A&M. Little bit of a homecoming for DJ Lagway. I mean, it's about as close as the Gators are going to play in conference play to Willis. We'll see if they can build on last week, but I'm thinking A&M at night here.
Yeah, I like A&M. I think this is one of those games though where it's overwhelmingly A&M and then it's close. That's going to tell us where A&M is, I think, this year. If Mike Elko and those guys go in and they blow out a very athletic, very opportunistic Florida team, Elko's got that place going in the right, got them going in the right order, right direction. If this turns into a field goal, a close game, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. There's always going to be those highs and those lows. I just don't know how much Florida is going to be able to pull. A&M is running the football religiously, and they are doing it really well. That's what's going to kill Florida.
I see it a little bit differently. I think the big matchup here is Florida's secondary against A&M's receivers. Because, you can kind of ding Marcel Reed for whatever you want to ding him for. But as long as he gets the ball and Craver, Concepcion, and
he has been.
And I forgot their other guy, their hands, it kind of takes care of itself.
Bussy does a little bit still too. They've got 5 or 6 guys on offense that can score at any point.
I think Florida can absolutely do this if they're capable of the Texas performance consistently now.
And that's what I'm afraid of. Like A&M's going to run the ball. Texas couldn't. A&M will.
A&M, if you ever want to get just to another level of rage with how bad the Texas offensive line is this year, go watch how the A&M offensive line fires off the ball when they run. Because it's very different.
I'm good on rage. Deep South's oldest rivalry, Georgia at Auburn. What happens if Auburn loses? Like, do they pull the plug
Nothing happens.
Do they pull the plug on Hugh Freeze?
I think they pull the plug on Jackson Arnold first.
Yes. They'll go to Deuce Knight.
Yeah.
They're paying him a lot of money to be waiting for and that's what we're going to see more of with the NIL era. They're paying the backup more than they're paying the starter. And that's when I think things get a little hairy, when the starter doesn't play that well.
I wonder what's next for Jackson Arnold. But
if you're Freeze, you want to pull a Napier, and you'd be like, "You're going to fire me? Look at what Deuce Knight can do. Just think about what could happen if I could coach him for another year, like Napier did with Lagway last year."
Auburn has a lot of big recruits coming in for this game too, man. There's some expectations here.
I also think this is going to be a low-scoring game because Georgia's having offensive line problems and offensive line health problems, and Auburn's been pretty stout on defense. So
yes, Auburn is actually really good up front on defense.
It's kind of like DJ
you don't
Durkin.
blow them out.
DJ Durkin, bad person, but good defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
as it turns out.
I cannot imagine Jackson Arnold against Kirby Smart's pressure, though. Doing anything other than
send him to A&M Commerce.
Send him back. I mean, there's always the homecoming available to him in North Texas. But we'll see how long that staff stays there, considering they're on fire.
Eric Morris and those boys ain't going to be around there much longer. 5-0 start for the first time in 70 years. They're a darling this year.
South Carolina at LSU. I think offenses are oddly taking a step back this year, and here's a case for two of them taking a step back.
I have no clue on this game. If this was a bet, a pick 'em, I wouldn't know what direction to go. Obviously, LSU at night at home is an ultimate advantage. But Lenora Sellers, I think it's going to be a fun game. That's going to be. I think that game will tell us a lot about the other team at the end of the game. I just don't know what it's going to say. I didn't factor in how many defensive guys South Carolina lost this offseason. That's my fault.
I mean, just until LSU shows it's got ability on offense, it's kind of tough to think, especially with how Nussmeier's been dinged up.
They're inconsistent.
Pounding the table on that one.
There you go.
Kentucky has a bye week. They probably need it before Texas heads there. Quick look at those pictures are a lot bigger than I thought they'd be. I tried something new. Maybe I'll take those out next time.
I like it.
Ole Miss leading the way. A&M right behind them. Bama right behind them. Missouri.
There's some work on this. This table definitely needs some work.
Yeah,
I love it.
You enormous.
I love it. Ian, you need to shut your hole. I think it looks wonderful.
I copy pasted it from the SEC website, and I think I need to remove the logos next time, and I might do that right after we're done. So go check that out on Inside Texas. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Of course, head to the first link in our description. That gets you the ability to sign up for Inside Texas for just $1. Come join the best Texas Longhorns community. Get the best Texas Longhorns insight. You're going to want to do that, not just this week for the Red River Shootout, but every week. And if you want to pause, scan that QR code. That'll take you right there. Again, make sure if you are in the Metroplex, head to Texas Live, right in the middle of where the Rangers play and played. We'll be there with the American Art Association, the Bear Bryant Award, Oklahoma Breakdown with Gabe Eichert and Teddy Lehman. They go first. Me, Eric, Justin will be there. Me, Eric, and Ian will be there 12 p.m. at the main stage. And then we'll be followed by Mac Brown and Barry Switzer. telling some stories about Texas versus Oklahoma.
You know why they won't let me? I'm going to let the viewers know. You know why they won't let me go up there? Because they're afraid I'm going to tell stories I'm not supposed to tell. But you know what? If you come see me at Inside Texas, I may tell you one of them.
Hey, I mean, former Oklahoma offensive coordinator Mac Brown will be in attendance, so should be.
Did you see that thing on the Stampede with him and Barry? I
yeah.
don't like the man. I love you, brother. I'm not buying any of this stuff. If Barry's talking, he's lying.
I heard a great story about Switzer interviewing Mac Brown for offensive coordinator.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, tell it on Inside Texas. Should be a fun one. We'll see you over there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.